When we think about torture methods, we often associate with the gruesome methods that people could not dare to watch. However, during the ancient China era, there were a couple of torture methods which did not involve any knives, and you will not see any blood. But those would make you beg the torturer to just put you out of the misery. Hello everyone, let's investigate here. Today, we will go over 4 different torture methods that were used in the early history of China, and the level of cruelty is beyond our imagination. In this form of punishment, the convicted criminals would be placed within a small enclosed space with no exits. Often will allow the criminal to have their hands and feet outside the box. But do not think this will make it any easier. The purpose of having your limbs outside the small box is to have you stay in a squatting position, with both of your legs close to your chest. Imagine you're squatting all the way down, and stay in that position for days. Go ahead and try it now yourself. Even just for a couple of minutes, you will experience extreme discomfort. It also makes it incredibly hard for you to breathe. The immense chest pain will eventually suffocate you. Criminals who undergo immurement will result in blood stasis in limbs and extreme suffocation, to the point where the person will die from excruciating pain. The torture device is a special wooden cage with a small opening on top, which is designed to lock in on the person's neck. The prisoner is to stand on a couple of bricks and can only stand and not sit in the cage. Sometimes, the torturer will take away 1 or 2 bricks to make you go into a tiptoe position. It is even worse when they add a few more bricks. Now you will have to slightly bend your legs to support your body. Your chin is stuck in this hole on top, and you have to bear the weight of your entire body. Your body will want to make sure this posture is more comfortable by activating every single muscle on your body to take away stress on your chin and on your neck. But know this, you are not going to be in the standing cage for a couple of hours. They usually keep you in there for a couple of days, sometimes even for weeks. Usually, the prisoner will be hanged alive due to lack of physical strength and body exhaustion. This torture method is common in the Ming Dynasty. The emperor usually used this method to torture his captured enemies. Some of the common folks were tortured with this when they offended the officials. The worst part about this torture is that if the person is said to be in the standing cage for a week, somehow the person died during the 7-day period, the dead body will remain in the cage until the time is up. The family cannot retrieve the body until then. It is similar to immurement, but barrel torture took things to another level. It does not require any knives or guns. Just a simple barrel will be enough to torture you until you die. The criminal would be locked in the barrel with only the head outside of it. The torturer might fill up the barrel with water, but most of the time, they just leave it empty. At first, the torturer will let you feast on whatever food you want, give you all kinds of delicacies. If we didn't mention that the criminal is trapped in a barrel, you would think that the person is living the best life. So what's cruel about this torture? Regular people like me dream of feasting on all kinds of delicacies. But what happens when you just devour a huge meal? Exactly. You need to take a dump. But what would you do if you are locked inside the barrel? Well, you really had no choice but to let loose. The barrel is tightly sealed, designed to prevent any leakage, so your urine and feces will stay in the barrel with you. The more they feed you, the more excrement you produce. As the time goes on, eventually, the barrel will be filled with your own excrement. The pungent smell will attract a lot of mosquitoes and pests, and they will lay eggs inside the barrel, and larvae will begin to spawn. However, the torturer will not stop feeding you, and you will continue to fill up the barrel. At the end, your entire body will be completely soaked in your own excrement. And what happens afterward? Your skin will begin to rot, and with all the pests inside the barrel. I can't imagine how nasty that is. Some torturers would even apply honey and butter on your face in order to attract more insects, and they will not stop crawling and biting on your face. And all these are happening while your body is rotting. After repeated torture, you will eventually die from immense pain and infection. This one is more of an execution, but the criminals will go through a series of torture before they die. The very first strangulation was to have the prisoner sit on a platform with his hands tied in front of his abdomen and his back against a vertical wooden stake. They put a rope from a hole on the stake and weave it into a loop to wrap the prisoner's neck. Then, they tied the two ends on the rope and insert a stick through it. When the stick was turned, the ring tightened and the prisoner was strangled. This method did not damage the carotid artery at all, but it caused people to slowly suffocate to death. Later, strangulation with iron collars were used to replace the rope. The rotating screws made the iron ring easier to shrink. In China, hanging is usually not the lowest level of death penalty, and it is less serious than beheading. Decapitation will separate a person's head from its body, while hanging can preserve the entire body. However, hanging is a long process and the victim will be quite painful. Above are the 4 tortures from the early history of China that did not involve any sharp weapons, just pure physical and mental torture on the victims. I thought the second torture was the worst. I can't imagine anyone could bear to go through all that before taking their last breath. None of these are currently being practiced in any part of the world. If so, it will greatly reduce the crime rate. I don't think anyone would dare to commit a crime if these are the potential punishment for their foul play.